In Lincolnshire, Illinois, 3 Stevenson High School students have played a role in bringing to justice a 40-year-old murder case. The students' documentary, called The Core of the Solution, started out as an entry for a history competition, but it quickly turned into a crusade to reconcile the past. Here to talk about their 10-minute documentary that took a year to complete are Brittany Saltiel, Sarah Siegel, and Allison Nichols, all juniors now at Stevenson High. Good to have all of you here, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Tell me how it felt when you first heard that your work helped, at least in part, to lead to the indictment of this former Ku Klux Klan leader.
Well, we were certainly very excited. It had been something that we dedicated so much time and energy to, so it was a definite success for us. At the same time, it was a little saddening to realize that although one person was brought under arrest and indicted, there are still 8 other people who were involved in the murders who are still alive who have not been indicted.
For a lot of us, the movie Mississippi Burning was something that awakened us to this particular case. How accurate was the movie? The Gene Hackman, William Dafoe movie?
Well, it's a very entertaining movie. It's very suspenseful, but the important thing to keep in mind is, first of all, the story isn't set in the proper context. You never know why the civil rights workers are in Mississippi. It doesn't explain the purpose of Freedom Summer, and it doesn't even mention the 3 men by name. Also, it severely downplays the role of the African Americans in Mississippi and makes them appear just passive, which was not at all the case.
The 3 whose bodies, I think, it was what, about 40 or 44 days after the crime that the bodies were found. The 3 went to Mississippi as to try to educate, to try to work for freedom, didn't they?
Right, they wanted to work at the freedom schools in Mississippi and help educate the black voters.
Let's look at a short clip from Mississippi Burning, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your documentary and the real story of this particular case.
At around 3 p.m., Deputy Pell says he arrested the 3 boys for speeding. He held them in jail until 10 p.m. and then released them. They drove off. He says he followed them as far as the county line and never saw them again. Why didn't they make a phone call?
Why should they?
Mr. Anderson, these boys were trained activists. They're taught to check in every hour, and if they're arrested the moment they're released from custody, the hotel is 2 minutes from the jail. They could have phoned from the lobby. It just doesn't follow.
They were working to help register voters and educate people, essentially, these 3, weren't they?
Right.
And Edgar Killen, who was released on $250,000 bail yesterday in Mississippi, March 28th is his trial date. He was acquitted because the jury deadlocked. Is that what happened?
Right. What happened was all of the people wanted to convict him except for one who said that she could never convict a preacher, which kind of leaves a big legacy after 40 years.
Why did you pick this topic for your documentary project?
Well, we knew that we wanted to do History Fair because we all love history and we've been good friends for a while. And so our sponsor, Barry Bradford, was...
that's your teacher?
Right. He was suggesting some possible topics for our project. And when we heard this one, we immediately knew that it was what we wanted to do. We didn't need to hear any other suggestions because we felt some sort of connection to the 3 young men, being that they were only a few years older than us. They were so committed to this cause and so passionate about it. And we knew there was an effort that was underway to reopen the case, and we knew that in any way we wanted to be a part of it.
Your teacher was the one who actually talked to Edgar Ray Killen.
Right.
Because had you spoken to him, you could have ended up having to testify, right?
Right, if he had said anything incriminating, then we would be the ones that would have to testify against him in Mississippi, and that would be a pretty scary situation.
Let's look at a little bit now from your documentary, and what's the name of your film?
It's called The Core of the Solution.
The Core of the Solution. Okay, here it is. Take a look.
Driving back from the investigation, Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney were pulled over by Cecil Price, Deputy Sheriff of Neshoba County. Price took them to Neshoba County Jail because Cheney was allegedly speeding. At 10:15 in the evening, Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney were released after paying a fine. It was the last time any of the men were seen alive by anyone other than their killers.
Are you surprised by the reaction to all of this?
Well, I think all the support we've been getting has been amazing. It's wonderful to see how many people care. I don't think it's surprising because this really isn't a complex issue. It's a very simple matter of right and wrong and justice being served. And so while we're thrilled that so many people are behind us and are supporting the families and are behind the case, I mean, it's great to see the reaction, but I don't think it's necessarily a surprise.
And now you're off to New York, aren't you?
No, actually that didn't work out for us, but we're hoping to do some other things to further our involvement in this cause.
Now, what's been more nerve-wracking for you, these kinds of appearances because of the publicity you've generated, or going through final exams that you just completed?
The finals were pretty tough.
Definitely finals.
Finals.
You're all juniors, right?
Right.
And have any of you planned on a career in film? Did you before this? Are you now?
You know, I don't know. I did a lot of just the video editing, and it got, you know, kind of just lonely sitting down there and, you know, with them just backing me up and improving my work. So I think I have to be more involved with just people and working
Not
collaboratively.
so much film, but I think definitely history and maybe even law and psychology.
Yeah.
I know we're very interested in.
And you won this competition, right? This whole thing started as something called the History Project.
Right.
What is that exactly?
Well, first we went through the History Fair program in Chicago, the Chicago Metro History Fair program, and we progressed from regionals to Chicago Metro to state, and at state we won the opportunity to go to National History Day and show our project there. So that's basically History Day.
And talk about everything you went through to do research on this project. You read the transcripts of what went on back in the 60s, didn't you?
Yeah, we started the summer before our sophomore year just going to the public library, checking out books. From there we progressed on to looking up articles on the internet in newspaper databases, and we sat down, we read the FBI transcripts of that investigation and of the trial, and we interviewed former Freedom Riders, former Freedom Summer volunteers, historians, members of the three families, and it was really an amazing experience to see just such a wealth of knowledge that exists.
And didn't you find it unbelievable that world of racial inequality, not that the world is free from that entirely today, but that Mississippi scene in 1964?
I mean, it was only 4 years ago, and things were so rough then.
40 years ago.
Right,
yeah.
and it's so different than what we see around here. It was just complete shock reading some newspaper articles that we found and just hearing in our interviews what people had said to African Americans there at the time.
Well, as your teacher said, you're all extremely intelligent, you have a lot of integrity and passion for justice, and you were all raised in families that teach people to care about others more than themselves. So you ought to feel very good about what's happened as a result of your work and your film and all the nice things that have happened because of it. You deserve it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here with us tonight. And congratulations on getting through finals.
Thank you.